This is the Try Swim Coach podcast, where the most difficult leg of the triathlon becomes your friend, leaving your struggles and your competition behind you. TrySwimCoach.com, helping you to laugh at the water.
All right, welcome to Try Swim Coach. This is Kevin, and this is episode number 91. And today I'm really excited. I have a special guest on, and he is one of our ambassadors for Try Swim Coach and also in our Try Swim Coach Team 500 program. And his name is Vince Sesto. Vince, welcome to the podcast.
G'day, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you talk a little bit about where you grew up and how you got started in triathlon?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm from Melbourne in Australia, which is kind of like the southern part of the country. So it's a bit cooler around here. I've, was born here. I grew up here. I've lived, in other parts of the country for a couple of years, but yeah, spent my time here. With triathlon, I have always been like a runner, and kind of got into swimming just out of, wanting to do some cross training and really kind of enjoyed the open water swimming, but always kind of saw triathlons as being a bit unattainable. I don't know why, but about 2 years ago, I had just finished my first marathon, and the following weekend, I kind of got up early in the morning, ready for training, and realized that I really didn't have anything to train for. And one of the guys that I swim with in the open water swim group he's been kind of pushing me to maybe try triathlons. And yeah, a 70.3 was coming up in Melbourne, and I entered, and I guess the rest is history now.
Yeah, and how long ago was that?
That was about 2 years ago. I'd done some triathlons kind of here and there, just kind of seeing what they were like. I never had like a proper bike and wasn't really focused that much on the swimming. But yeah, that kind of spurred me on to really kind of take it a bit seriously and get a proper bike and really push myself to look at some more challenges.
Yeah, absolutely. So what is it that you love about doing triathlon?
I think when I run and swim, I think I'm pretty critical when I come to the end of a race. I'm always critical with what's happened during the day. But I think with triathlon, because you've got the three disciplines, I can always kind of take something positive out of it. Mm-hmm. There's always something like, I've had a good swim or I've had a good run. So that's probably the first thing. But I also like just the different cross training. There's just so much variance in your training, going from the swim to bike to run. I think one other thing that I like as well is, you can get close to some of the professionals here and there. I did a race in Fiji last year, and Dylan McNeish was there. So he's won Challenge Wanaka like the last 3 years in a row. So I was able to have a beer with him after the race. So I think that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, right on. So these days, what is your training schedule like? And do you have like family that supports you or that does it with you or anything like that?
Not really, actually. I struggled to kind of fit in with like training groups and things like that, except for like the open water swim group that I'm in. So yeah, a lot of it I do is on my own. So the start of my week, I kind of like is my rest day, which that's a really good start to the week. But most days I'm usually getting up at about 5 to do like about 2 hours worth of training. And I'll usually mix that up and have about an hour swim and then an hour run. And then the afternoons I'll do like a 1 hour run or a 1 hour ride or something like that. And then the weekends I usually get the chance to push the distance out a bit and concentrate on, longer rides and longer runs and longer swims. I don't know why. I've just kind of found, it's something that I enjoy doing on my own. I almost get into like a meditative state when I'm out on the road on my own. So, yeah.
Yeah, and you have no choice when you're swimming laps in a pool or even in the open water when you've got your head down and you just kind of have to get in with your thoughts, and that definitely can be meditative, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So now you've been with Try Swim Coach for a while. What's your experience been like? What have you done? And I know you've been a loyal member of the Team 500 that we're doing on Facebook, and I really appreciate that. Yeah. It's great to have you in the group. But yeah, including that, what has your experience been like?
Yeah, I think I originally bought one of your DVDs. I'd been doing a lot of reading about, swimming, and I think I work in IT, so straight out, I'm a bit of a geek. So the whole technique work and hydrodynamics and that kind of stuff really interests me. But I think just kind of reading about it, it doesn't really translate that well. So when you're trying to, implement that in the pool. So yeah, I bought one of the DVDs and yeah, was just able to really kind of concentrate on a lot of the drills and basically, yeah, see how they're done properly to then take that into the pool. And I think from that, I got membership with the TriSwim Pro as well, which I think was good because it gave me a clearer idea of, the kind of, well, I guess the kind of training I needed to put together, while I'm actually at the pool, instead of just, how to do the drills, how to do a warm up, how to do laps. But I think TriSwim Pro was able to kind of really put that all together and show me how to put together like a proper training session over, an hour or an hour and 20 minutes, however time you have. I think the Team 500's been really cool though, because it's given like an extra kind of incentive to get out of bed and motivate yourself and get to the pool, because there's kind of that team aspect. And I want people to see that I'm getting to the pool and I'm getting the challenges done, and I want to make sure I don't drop down on the leaderboard and those kind of things. So that's been pretty cool as well.
Yeah, and we definitely love your pictures. You've got a lot of like beach shots, which are always motivating, and especially like coming into, I think you're what in the fall there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems to be a beautiful spot that you've got there, and I'm sure you've got some great open water spots there too, right?
Yeah, we're really lucky. Like just in Melbourne, in we it's like a bay, so it's really good for open water swimming. So they're not really surf beaches or anything like that. And within 10, 15 minutes at home, like we've got some really nice beaches just to go swim at. And the local swim group is really cool. That's kind of growing every week. And I guess the social aspect of that, like I said, I can't really fit into many kind of swim groups and training groups, but I always make sure I get to the beach Saturday mornings, even during the middle of winter. So
Yeah, nice. So now, what's your key to being consistent and just staying in shape in general?
I think you really need to find something you enjoy. You're never going to be consistent unless you find something that you're wanting to do every day, basically, and you're wanting to keep doing for a long amount of time. I think as well, even though I really like the training aspect, being able to work towards a goal is something that for me kind of motivates me and gives me extra kind of, incentive to get out of bed in the morning. I think as well, you need to really eat properly. And I've noticed as my training increases, I'm pushing 12 to 15 hours a week. Now, if I don't eat properly, I really feel it. You lose weight, you feel nauseous. You really got to keep an eye on what you're eating. And I think that just kind of comes with the sport, I guess. They say that it's kind of a lifestyle. And I think as you get more serious and you end up putting in more hours, it just kind of comes with the lifestyle, and you focus more on your health and your nutrition as well.
Yeah, that really is true. I remember I read a book a while back by Mark Allen, he won the Ironman like 6 times in the 80s and 90s, I think. And he was talking about how when he was young, he would just eat anything and he could survive on like a diet of like ice cream and pizza all the time. And then as he kind of got a little bit older, he started realizing that it really wasn't working anymore and to do triathlon and eating like that. So he switched his diet all around and started doing more of a lower carb kind of thing. And it allowed him to keep going for, many years in the sport. Whereas I think that you can only get by so far on the ice cream and cookies diet, right?
Yeah, definitely. I thought like a similar thing. Not really ice cream and cookies, but I thought that just as long as I was getting enough food in, I'd be fine. But yeah, about 6 months ago, I noticed, I was still able to train pretty well. I was still improving, but I was just feeling really sick and nauseous after the training sessions and just needed to kind of cut back a bit on the carbs and make sure I was getting proper protein in after like every training session. And I cut back a lot on caffeine, and I'm a big coffee drinker, but I've cut back on caffeine and a lot of dairy as well. And just notice I'm feeling like a lot better. I'm able to be consistent with the training and not feel nauseous all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you were able to kind of make that discovery. That's so important. What's something that you can tell us that most people don't know about you?
Well, actually, I think when people kind of meet me and they find out a bit about me and see what I'm doing, they're actually really surprised that I have a really big sweet tooth. I love sugar and chocolate. Actually, I pretty much love all junk food. So, I think, people are really surprised that you're working hard, you're training, and they see you as just being so healthy. So they're really surprised to hear that I love junk food. I tell people, I have this joke that I tell people that I'm allergic to pizza. And then when they ask what happens, I say, well, I take one bite, I black out, and then when I wake up, all the pizza's gone and everyone's annoyed with me.
Great. Yeah. We just did a podcast a couple weeks ago on junk food and supplements. So that's funny.
Actually, yeah, I read the article that you posted about that.
Oh yeah. People got a little bit uptight about it because they thought we were recommending junk food, but I think you'd agree that maybe that's something to save for specific times and maybe a little more sporadically than constantly chowing down on the pizza, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, cool. What are your plans for this year and beyond? What are your goals these days?
Well, I think the first thing I'm focusing on, I'm going back to Fiji at the start of June, which is going to be really cool. That's a long course triathlon. So that's my main focus. But early 2016, I've signed up for my first Ironman, which I'm really kind of pumped for. As well, it's a bit daunting. It's going to be a big change from doing the long course triathlons and the half Ironman triathlons. So that's in April the 3rd. I'll be doing Ironman Melbourne. But I think before that, I'm considering going to New Zealand and doing Challenge Wanaka, which is also an Ironman. So that would be pretty cool it's always a race that I've wanted to do. And I think crossing that off the list would then open up all these other possibilities. There's so many cool things around the world. There's just so many great Ironman races in the US and things like the long distance races, the Sahara Marathon and those kind of things, and the Patagonia Marathon. Mm. Yeah, I think with my focus on Ironman and crossing that off the list over the next 12 months, it'll just then lead me to all these other amazing races that I've kind of heard of and aspired to do one day.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish you the best of luck. And that's about all we have. Vince, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and also being a member of our site and an ambassador. It's really great to have you, and we look forward to seeing a lot from you in the future.
Thanks a lot for that, Kevin.
Thanks for listening to another episode covering swimming and triathlon mastery. To get your free online swim clinic, just go to tryswimlessons.com. Give us your name and email, and we'll have session number 1 off to you right away. Begin your process of befriending the swim and laughing at the water now.